This is Employee Retention Through Coaching. Remember why they were hired. Brought to you by Ron Knows Stuff. I'm a former department store manager, bank manager, government manager, and of course a band manager. I have over 40 years of experience that I'm going to share with you tonight. These are some of the topics we're going to talk about. A good public speaker always tells you what they're going to tell you before they tell it to you. So we're going to talk about business impact, assumptions. Coaching begins at the interview, recommendations, risk and contingencies, an implementation plan, and of course, a conclusion.
Welcome to Ron Knows Stuff.
Business impact, return on investment. So, some of the things to understand about a business and having employees. You're going to have training costs. It's going to take you over 2 to 3 years to get that employee fully trained and understanding what they're doing and how they're doing it. You're going to invest at least 10 to 20% of your employee's salary in training. I believe that number is a little bit low because they're going to make some mistakes. There's a cultural impact. Whenever someone leaves, others take time. Well, why are they leaving? What's so bad about working here? And then that's when they start thinking about, ooh, do I want to work here? That impact is definitely effective on your return on investment. The cost to replace a 15-hour person, $4,828. That's marketing to fill the position, training, interviewing, time lost. But there's more to it than just that, and we'll talk about that. Replacing a salaried employee costs 6 to 9 months of salary. That's a lot of money, and of course, $100,000 CEO, that's not there, but that's my source for such things. Assumptions. Okay, so why do people fail? Well, there's several reasons why. They become irrelevant. They're just not with the times anymore, or technology has left them behind, or technology has replaced them. They're just not relevant. They're unwilling or too slow to change. The only thing that is constant is change. And a lot of folks don't understand that. That's why they fail. They just have a bad attitude. And I'll tell you what, that spreads like wildfire. They are going to fail, but they're going to bring people around them with them. They have skill gaps. In other words, they don't know what they're doing. And they have not developed a unique personal brand, meaning they don't really bring any value because they're just bland. They lack discipline, focus, and balance. They lack a deep sense of belief in themselves. In other words, they don't believe they can do the job. They're not adding value to your business. Why people succeed? Well, there's 3 reasons. They're suited for the work assigned, they care about their job, and they know how to do their job. And why do successful people become successful? They've had a good coach. They've had a good mentor. They're paying attention. They're being coached. So you have an opening. What do? You want to hire somebody, you want to expand your business, or you had somebody leave or somebody's retiring. Regardless, you have an opening. You got to sit down as a manager and think for yourself for a minute. Okay, I have that opening right now. Does it meet my needs today? Is it going to meet my needs tomorrow? Do I really need this position, or do I need a different position? Analyze your business, your today needs, and again, your tomorrow needs. Then take out that job description. Is it accurate? Is it up to date? Does it even fit your model business today? Will it fit your model business tomorrow? If not, put that in there, and you can say in 6 months or in 1 year or in 3 years, this position will transition to this. Put in there and be upfront and honest. Be honest with yourself, be honest with your needs, be honest with your business, and be honest with your candidates. Now, you put out that job, be it through all the electronic media, social media, and of course talk to your fellow workers and everybody you know. Let them know you have a position. You need a candidate for it. Give them the job description. We've all watched American Pickers, and they, even though they know their lead and what they're going for, they still give out a piece of paper saying what they're looking for. Do the same thing. Carry it around with you. I know paper is old-fashioned, but it still works. Even if somebody throws it away and somebody else picks it up, they could be a potential. Think about how you're going to keep them motivated. What's going to make them tick? They're 60% more productive if they're motivated. What are you going to do to make them motivated? And then, of course, will coaching create promotability? So that candidate that I'm going to talk to, are they promotable? Do I want them to be? I will tell you that in my many years of management, I have developed more people into managers than I can count. And we're going to talk about that as we progress in this and why that's important. So, coaching begins at the interview is the title of this slide, and this is so true. Sample interview questions, I mean, there's a ton of them out there on the internet that you can grab, and I certainly recommend it. Make sure that it applies in such a way that you'll get the answers you want. But these are the questions I really wanted to know is, why did you apply here? And that tells me what's their motivation. Why do they want to work here? Is it just because they heard I'm awesome? I'm sure they have. But why did they apply here? That's, oh, I need a job. No, I need somebody who wants a career, not a job. And then I'm going to go into deeper. Well, tell me more about that when they tell me why they applied here. I applied for my current job because I was really intrigued by government processes, and I wanted to see how I could make it better. And my boss was no longer my boss. I've been now way up there, but she was so intrigued with that we talked about that for most of the interview. So you want to know why they want to apply there. And then what other types of jobs did you apply for? So if you are if you have a car lot and you want to hire salespeople, and they applied for office work, they applied for remote work, they're not a people person. You want to find somebody that applies for a job just like the one they're applying for with you. And if it's different, well, go after that. Tell me, you said you wanted to apply for this job, but you also applied for that job. How are they connected? Why did both of those seemingly different jobs appeal to you? Let them tell you. Your best friend in interviewing is silence, yours, not theirs. I have been in countless interviews where the other person was doing, the interviewer was doing all the talking, not the interviewee. And you just need to shut up sometimes and let them talk. Mr. Dillard once said to me, actually, I was told Mr. Dillard's favorite trick is to walk around in complete silence and look at you every now and then. And man, you would just spill your guts to him. He would find out so much by just shutting up. And I watched the man do it, and it was mind-blowing. So what can the company expect from you? That's a fair question to ask somebody. I know you're applying here and you want a job and you want a career and all that stuff, but what can we get at from you? Write it down. All these things you need to write down. Keep copious notes. Also, what do you expect to get from me, your employer? Write these things down. You really want to have a good set of notes. And then my favorite question, of course, is what unique skills do you possess that we haven't talked about? I put that in the beginning of there. I told you all these manager jobs that I've had. I mean, I've manage staffs as small as 3 and as large as 345 people. So my favorite question is, but in there I put band manager. I played in a band off and on since 1980, and I would help do the bookings and things like that. And I would take this opportunity to explain these unique skills and how they were applicable to what I was applying for. And this is good stuff to really ask. And again, you want to take good notes. Why do you want to take good notes? This is very important because remember, we talked about why somebody doesn't succeed and why they do succeed. They succeed because they care, they know how, and they're suited for it. So one of the reasons they fail is because they don't have ability. They don't have willingness to solve the problem. You have to show confidence in that employee's ability. You have to coach to that. You have to have those conversations about, even if it's a small little victory, you celebrate it with them. You show them that you believe in them. If there's a performance problem, yes, we want to retain quality employees, but we also want to hold them accountable. If there truly is a performance problem, it should come as no surprise because you're going to do coaching all the time with that person. And you're going to talk to them and just let them know, honestly and bluntly, in a professional way, of course, because everything always needs to be professional. But you say, hey, look, I had asked you to meet this deadline. And, the reason I gave you a deadline is because I have my boss asking for a deadline, and he or she needs it for their boss. And so do you see how missing the deadline kind of not only affects you and I, but affects the whole organization? How do you think we can do better with that? What do you need from me so that you won't miss future deadlines? All right. Ask for the employee's view of the situation. Well, Ron, no stuff. You only gave me an hour's notice. Had you given me, a full day, and the report requires a full day of work. Had you given me more than an hour's notice, I could have gotten it done. Okay, that's great. You now have their view. And then you can explore that further and say, okay, so I only gave you a notice. Quite honestly, you're right. I should have told you, and I should have asked you what help you needed to meet this deadline because there are 8 people waiting for this information. Would that have made a difference? And then the employee is going to see that you're not yelling at them. You're engaged in a conversation to fix that problem. And again, and I will tell you, I've had this happen where I've gotten yelled at for something I wasn't even involved in. And at the end of it, I said to my boss, "Are you through? Because now I'm going to tell you what actually happened." He or she wasn't a good coach. By getting the employee involved in resolving the situation, you're going to keep them. They're going to be more loyal to you because you're treating them as a fair equal. And I did say equal. You want to discuss possible solutions to the problem or an improvement action to take. You're going to agree on this written action plan. And I prefer it to be in writing with the employee. It depends on the seriousness of the situation. You could write it down later, but you always want to keep your notes. Excuse me, because you want to hold that employee accountable, and you can't do it off of memory. You got to do it over a written note. So keep your written action plan. Keep your written action plan, whether you share it with the employee or not at the time. That's up to you, depending on the seriousness of the information of the situation. But anytime I have a conversation, any type, I'll either send myself an email, put it in their file, jot a note down, something, date it, time it, so that later on I can go up to them and said, "Hey, on this day we talked about this and I don't see any action. Why didn't you take that conversation serious?" All right. So you want to set a date. Anytime you have a conversation with somebody and it's a serious situation, You do want to set a date and follow up. And if it's in 2 weeks, great. But if you don't see them doing anything in 3 days, bring them back in. If you see them going like gangbusters on it in 3 days, even 24 hours, 2 days, 1 day, talk to them, coach them, say, hey, I'm so happy to see you doing the things you're doing because, man, you are just taking ownership of it. That praise is going to get you so much more. So if I don't coach, what happens? If I do coach, what happens? Well, if I do nothing, what happens? So a risk assessment should always be done, and a contingency planning, it's part of the process so that you can, be prepared and protect your business. If this doesn't work, I've already got my plan B in place. Figure it out. So the risk of coaching your employees and using the notes that you've taken when you hired them, and again, the great thing about it is, hey, you said you applied for this job because of this, and I told you that I was going to help you meet those needs, and we're meeting monthly. We're doing all these things to give you job satisfaction. Doesn't that sound great? So, and you get the head shake and everything going with it. So the risks of doing something different. Managers may not take the time to train. Training managers on the program takes time. It can lead to culture change, and it could have a time trade-off, training versus hiring. And current employees may feel left out. So what I'm going to tell you is you treat everybody. You can even talk to the employees that have been with you for 20 years. Hey, do you remember why we hired you? And coach them on that and keep meeting with them. I meet with my team individually. Now I have a small team right now, so I do it once a week. But when I had 350 people, it was a department store, so it was easier. I'd walk around every day and I would see, people on different shifts. I knew who did what and when they were there and all that. And I would go up to them. Hey, I noticed your numbers are this, and I noticed that, this display, I was told you did it. I just wanted to tell you it was a great job. What brought you to, make this display look like this? And it showed them how important they were to my business, and it made them want to do more. And it made them excited about being recognized. Hey, wow, that store manager is talking to me and cares about things that I'm doing. He doesn't just talk to me when I'm late or when I mess up. He's coaching me even on the positive. Yes, I would coach on the negative in private, coach on the positive in public, and it just really works out. There could be a time trade-off, absolutely. But I'd much rather spend my time making strong people stronger than having to hire all over again. So by taking your time to talk to the staff you have today, they'll be your staff tomorrow. And yes, it will lead to a culture change. I grand opened a department store. I had to hire 285 people I had to hire. And this was back when malls were a thing. I wish they still were. But so the mall was brand new. So there was my anchor store and two other anchor stores. Not only because of this philosophy of coaching and recognizing, did I was fully staffed when we grand opened, and I was able to soft open 3 days before anybody else. And the other stores, other department stores, and the other anchor stores, they barely made, well, let's just say I walked through some of them and they weren't ready to go to grand open and they weren't fully staffed. And the people there looked miserable and confused. But because we had this culture of can do and training, my goodness, it was such a great culture change. We didn't lose people. And it would just, everybody was working together and everybody cared and wanted us to be successful. Because the biggest thing as a manager, when your people are successful, so are you. They're not your competition. You need to be a tool for them to use to be successful. And when they are, you can ride their coattails to success. They will make you a lot of money. You just got to be the tool and willing to be subservient to your staff. Hold them accountable, but work for them, not them work for you. So, Coco says hi. So, failure to implement. Well, you're going to have low morale, low productivity. You're going to have these same positions open again and again and again. You need to update that job description, and you need to hire to it, and you need to coach to it. You do not want to waste your onboarding or training expenditures. And my goodness gracious, interviewing is a pain in the tuchus. Recruiting is a pain in the tuchus. Answering and asking all these questions is a pain in the tuchus. I much rather spend time coaching. I've been in my current position for 5 years now, and I've lost one person. And do you know why? They got promoted up. That's why. So, if you do nothing, you're just going to keep experiencing the same mediocrity. You're not ready for change. You're not growing your business. You are leaving money on the table. So, you want to develop your scope of work, your job descriptions. Take a look at them. Even if the position's not open right now, take a look at them. See what they're saying to you. Would you want that job? What's the growth opportunity? Where do you want that job to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? If you're not planning out 5 years on these things, you need to. Take notes during the interview because you want to match talk the job description. That's what you're looking for from your future employee. And you want to make sure that you're match talking that job description. What you are interviewing for is that job description. And then you want to share these notes with the candidate before they leave. Let them know, wow, you valued them enough to take notes. I mean, think about that for a minute. Have you been in an interview and the boss said, potential boss, hey, I really appreciate your time today. You know, it was so great getting to know you and why you applied for this job, what you expect from me, what I can expect for you, where you want me to take you in this job. Take a look at my notes. Do they look good to you? Am I making the right commitment to you that you want to make to me? They would be blown away, wouldn't they? I mean, you already have somebody loyal that wants to come work for you. Congratulations. Use your interview notes during onboarding. So their first day there, pull those notes out again and say, hey, you know, I made you a copy of these because this is part of our coaching plan together. You know, you said these things to me. This is why I hired you. So I'm going to help you grow these things. You know, there'll be other parts of your job that I'm going to try and coach you on. But these are the things why I hired you. And I'm going to coach you towards this. And I value your feedback on that coaching. Okay? How does that sound? That is going to make them so excited. They're going to have to go to the bathroom and change their underpants. But in all seriousness, it is a shared responsibility. They have to be part of it as much as you are. And you're going to know that from the interview. And if you feel like you're not going to get that shared responsibility, don't hire them. When to coach and the timeliness of coaching. You know, some things can wait. So it's a regularly scheduled, coaching thing. But you can also do it off the cuff. You see something great, you call it out. And, hey, I just got CC'd on that email you sent to so-and-so. And I got to tell you, I liked the way you wrote that. And here's what I liked about it. You were concise, you were approachable, and you said what you were going to do, and you did what you were going to say, and you gave them a time commitment. That's coaching, folks. And that's on the spot, and it works. You don't just have to do, hey, your numbers were this, I noticed that. You know, don't. And again, remember why you hired them. Look at your notes. And I'm going to tell you because this was asked, and I'm not sure if it's coming up. Let's find out. But I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm too excited to tell you. Focus on why you hired them. So, in other words, if you need them to do an Excel spreadsheet and they suck at Excel, don't waste your time coaching them on it. They don't like it. They don't want to do it. Let them do what they like to do. They're going to be more successful at it. They're going to own it. They'll do a good job. And I guarantee you there's somebody else on your team that just froths at the mouth at the opportunity to do something with Excel. Guilty. I'm telling you, let people do what they want to do. Don't go changing them. You didn't hire them to change them. You hired them because of who they are today. So, of all employees we have, 20% are great. 70% are solid. 10%, honestly, we could do without. But you can shift these numbers with your retention if you interview right and you continue to coach them. You will get that great number and solid number flipped with great coaching. 10%, you're always going to have something. And I like to leave that 10% number there. But hey, if you can improve your grades and even retain your solids and lower your terminals, you're just going to have a great business. And guess what? When you're coaching like this, you are going to enjoy your job more. Everybody around you is going to be more of a team, and you're going to enjoy your job more. Remember, you work for them. They don't work for you. If they're successful, you're successful. Effective management equals effective team members, which equals effective profits for everyone. Remember those interview questions. What can they expect from you? What can you expect from them? So I want to thank you very much for attending. Because this is recorded, I can't answer your questions live, but please leave them in the comments and I will respond. I thank you very much. If you'd like to know where I've gotten some of my information, this is where it is. But I will tell you that real life experience has taught me plenty, and I am willing to share that knowledge with you. So again, please ask your questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you for your commitment to this, and I wish you much success with great coaching. I know you will have it.